This is the QTV Nightly News and I'm Jacqueline Coley. Thank you for joining us, and a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the headlines. The European Union and the government of the Gambia on Friday signed a landmark $1.7 billion investment agreement to enhance the country's agri-food systems. Over 200 Gambian youths are taking part in the 4th edition of the local conference of Youth on Climate Change, ELCOI, the Gambia 2025. In an exclusive interview with QTV, GCCI President-elect Njundu Fati outlined his 3-year priorities while commending his fellow presidential contenders and thanking the Chamber's members for placing their trust in him. A team of Spanish doctors is currently in the Gambia carrying out free gynecological surgeries for women at the Kanifing General Hospital. In international news, China's Qinghai Province Foreign Affairs Office hosted the 9th China-Africa Youth Festival banquet, uniting young people from China and Africa for a night of celebration and collaboration. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Thank you for tuning in. The European Union and the government of the Gambia on Friday signed a landmark $1.7 billion investment agreement to enhance the country's agri-food systems. The initiative aims to boost horticulture, empower women and youth, and improve rural livelihoods. Mamna Buka reports.
The agreement was signed on Friday at the Ministry of Finance in Banjul by the EU ambassador to the Gambia and the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs. The ceremony was also attended by the Ministers of Agriculture and Trade, along with officials from the Food Safety and Quality Authority and other important partners. The program focuses on 3 main priorities, including increased investments, productivity, food safety, and sustainable agroecological practices of producers and processors, and strengthening diversified, nutrition-sensitive, agroecologically produced targeted agri-food value chains. The project will be implemented by Co-Lead, a private sector non-profit organization that gathers companies, professional organizations, and experts committed to inclusive and sustainable agriculture. Immaculada Roca E. Cortez, the European Union ambassador to the Gambia, emphasized that this program is part of the EU's effort to assist the Gambia in its ongoing journey toward a strengthened democracy and development, by supporting projects that will have a tangible impact on the lives of its citizens.
This is not just an agricultural project. It is about creating opportunities, ensuring food security, opening the Gambia to bigger markets, but it's building resilient, inclusive, and sustainable future for the Gambia. And on that, I really want to underline that you can count on the European Union support now and in the future.
CDKM Keta, the Gambia's Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, called the EU's support for the Gambia's agricultural sector crucial in light of challenges in relation to climate change and post-harvest losses.
We can say that the contribution of agriculture to the GDP is above 25%. As we aspire to have more climate resilient and robust agricultural value chain, this is not merely a financial transaction, it is a catalytic investment in one of the most productive sectors of our economy.
Dr. Demba Sabali, Minister of Agriculture, affirmed that the Gambian government and its citizens are committed to implementing the program transparently and effectively.
By promoting agripreneurs, access to finance, improved working conditions, and gender equality, it lays a solid foundation for inclusive green growth. It will also enable the Gambia to move towards food sovereignty, enhance the shared locally produced food in our market and hospitality sector, and create opportunity for organic and premium value chains that benefit both the farmers and the tourism industry. Together, we are charting a path where agriculture is no longer seen as a sustenance, but as a vibrant, market-driven sector capable of delivering prosperity, dignity, and opportunity for our Gambian people.
This new agreement builds on the EU's long-standing support for the Gambia's development efforts and reflects both partners' commitment to achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, including food security, gender equality, and climate action. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
More than 200 Gambian youths are attending the 4th edition of the local conference of youth on climate change known as El-Koi the Gambia 2025. The two-day forum is organized by the Gambia Environmental Alliance. Mamoudou Gajaga attended and he now reports.
This year's Eve is being held under the theme Gambian Youth Leading Climate Resilience, Amplifying Voices in Policy and Action. This two-day forum brings together youth leaders in climate change action and policy makers to discuss critical issues relating to climate change challenges and mitigation mechanisms using a youth-led approach. The government of the Gambia was represented by Mohamed B.S. Jallow, the Vice President, and Rohi John Manjang, the Minister of Environment.
The theme of this conference is not a request. It is a declaration. Gambian youth leading climate resilience. And from what I've seen, this is not an aspiration, it is reality. You are not the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of today. When I stand on the global stage at the Conference of Parties, I speak of the Gambia's vulnerabilities. I speak of our need for support. I speak of our commitment to our national determined contributions.
Let's work hand in hand. That is what is important. Luckily, you have us here. The Ministry of Environment is a government ministry. We all know, no doubt. But government has a very tight budget with loads of demands that are unlimited. And our revenue base is limited, and the size is very small. That's why we work hand in hand with our development partners to complement government's efforts.
El-Koi the Gambia is a youth-led initiative which seeks to create a crucial space for Gambian youth to share ideas, thoughts, and expertise for a more inclusive and sustainable national and global climate action strategies to enhance the resilience of their communities. This convergence is one of many organized globally to discuss climate mitigation efforts, resource mobilization, and policy. Hadijatu Sise, National Coordinator, El-Koi Gambia, and Mohamed Haidara, Secretary General of the Gambia Environment Alliance, spoke about some of their strides.
As we gather here today, we are reminded of the urgent need for climate action. The Gambia, being classified among the most vulnerable countries, have significantly faced challenges.
We were part of decision-making when it comes to developing the first ever national climate change policy bill.
One of the communities hardest hit by the effects of climate change, such as floods, is the Kotu stream, as was especially evident in the heavy floods which followed heavy rainfall in 2022. Despite being a waterway serving several communities over many decades, over time, it has become heavily degraded, littered and polluted, exposing the community to floods during heavy downpours. Dr. Mohamed Lamin Sanyang, the project coordinator of the West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Investment, WACA, says they will be supporting these communities.
So our mission is to restore the stream and reprofile it by deploying engineering solutions as well as nature-based solutions that we hope will become a model in the country and beyond. We will also invest in the economic empowerment of communities along the stream. We will provide them with livelihood support and resilience grants to build and scale up their businesses and other livelihood ventures.
During this year's conference, young people will develop a national youth statement that will be incorporated into the Global Youth Statement for 2025, which will be presented at COP30 in Belém, Brazil, in November 2025. Mamoudou Gajaga, QTV News.
In an exclusive interview with QTV, the GCCI's President-elect Njundu Fati outlined his priorities for the next 3 years while commending his fellow presidential contenders and thanking the Chamber's members for placing their trust in him. Julden Jai tells us more.
Njundu Fati was elected during the GCCI's annual general meeting last weekend alongside a vice president and other key officials to lead and advance the country's business community over the next 3 years. He succeeds Idrissa Masjoub, who served as GCCI president for 6 years. Winning a highly competitive election, Njundu Fati explains how he feels stepping into his new role.
knowing that I am representing the Gambian business community, knowing that the economy of the Gambia is as good as the health of the private sector. So it's not an easy responsibility. And I assure the membership of GCCI and the entire private sector of the Gambia, with the rest of my team, we will do our very best to make sure that we deliver the manifesto.
The newly GCCI president-elect expressed gratitude to his fellow contenders for their professionalism following his victory.
I must say that at the end of the day, both parties accepted the verdict of the people, of the members. Myself and Saul, we embraced when the results were declared, and that is the height of maturity, especially on his part. Again, that is what leadership represents. And I think the Gambia should learn from the private sector in this respect. Elections are momentary.
The ambitious leader highlighted his main goals and initiatives for the next 3 years in office.
You look at the population of the Gambia, the majority are youths. So youth businesses should really be encouraged to develop and grow. Again, you go to our markets. The majority of the people who are there are women. So we need to give them their rightful position. In fact, that is why on my team, the vice president actually of the GCCI is a woman. So we are going to really support women. We're also going to make sure that the GCCI extends to cover the rest of the country. Basse is a growth center. Farafenni is a growth center. Soma is a growth center. Brikama is a major growth center. So we need to engage with players in all these regions of the country. Then the second most important thing for me is that the chamber has a lot of resources, non-productive, the trade fair center specifically. And I would want to see that we attract the necessary investment to develop the Jula city.
As every leader seeks to leave a lasting legacy, Mr. Fati shared what he hopes to be remembered for.
I want to enhance membership base of GCCI so that we'll have members across the entire length and breadth of the country. I want to see more youth participation in the chamber and in the private sector. I also equally want to see more women participation in the chamber and the activities of the chamber. I want to see a chamber that is very vibrant financially.
As he begins his new role, Jundu Fati emphasizes the importance of moving beyond the elections and working together for national development. He expressed confidence that the government of the Gambia will collaborate with the GCCI and will continue to play their part in creating a conducive environment for private sector growth and success. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
Up next is national and international news stories. After the break, do stay tuned. At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25 Cs. Yes! Recharge $25 Cs and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. You're watching QTV News and I'm Jacqueline Coley. A team of Spanish doctors is currently in the Gambia carrying out free gynecological surgeries for women at the Kanifing General Hospital. The medical mission aims to provide life-saving treatment and specialized care for women suffering from various gynecological conditions. Yafatuge has the details.
The doctors are part of Surgeons in Action, a program under the Spanish Medical Association ASEDA. Their medical mission in the Gambia runs from September 8 to 14, 2025. The surgeries cover conditions such as endometriosis and hysterectomies, among others that affect women. So far, the team has completed over 30 operations and expect to reach 60 by the end of the week. Jose Marie Maron, Vice President of ASEDA, explained that this year's decision to focus exclusively on women was driven by the increasing demand for specialized gynecological care.
This is because in the beginning, people in the school where we are working in, I mean, many children work with hernia, and very big hernias, and we never find who operate this only in private hospital.
Andrea Farre, head of the Spanish gynecology team, spoke about the surgeries they have completed and shared her positive experience working in the Gambia.
In general, a lot of myomas, fibroids. So we try to do myomectomies, which is remove the myomas, or hysterectomy, which is remove the whole uterus if it's too big or it's not possible, or the woman has a lot of bleeding and is an old woman who needs hysterectomy.
Local health workers are also part of the medical team. Usman Sise, a Gambian nurse anesthesiologist, shared insights from his experience.
Yeah, actually we were doing this type of surgeries. They just actually complementing what we are doing because what they're doing now is just they're doing everything for free for the patients because they pay for everything. And then at the end of the surgery camp also, they're going to leave most of the materials with us, which is also going to help us in our work and then and the medications.
Violeta Insa Sandoval, charged the affair at the Spanish Embassy in the Gambia, said the surgery camp is part of ongoing health cooperation between the two countries. She added that the initiative will also help strengthen the exchange of skills and knowledge between Gambian and Spanish doctors.
For Spain and the Gambia, cooperation in as many areas as possible is great to even enhance the cooperation, so health, education, security, agriculture. So we are very, very happy of this collaboration, and we are growing our collaboration.
Over the past 3 years, the Spanish Medical Association has performed over 1,000 surgeries in the Gambia, addressing a wide range of medical conditions for both men and women. The association emphasizes not only providing surgical care, but also training local healthcare professionals to continue these services after their team depart. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatigay.
Gambia participates in partnership with the Ministry of Justice, concluded a 2-day familiarization workshop to equip senior government officials with the Anti-Corruption Act. Mam Nabuka witnessed the opening ceremony, and this is her report.
The training, targeting 50 government officials across ministries, departments and agencies, will be facilitated by the Legislative Drafting Department of the Ministry of Justice. The Anti-Corruption Act was enacted by the Gambia's National Assembly in December 2023, representing a significant milestone in the nation's collective effort to combat corruption. The legislation includes various measures aimed at preventing, identifying, and punishing corrupt activities in both the public and private sectors. However, given the limited understanding of the Act's provisions and the penalties associated with the offences it establishes, There remains a pressing need to educate public officials about the law, which is the first such law in the Gambia, and this training aims to achieve just that by familiarizing officials with the contents of the Act. Mar Nyang, the Executive Director of Gambia Participates, shed light on the significance of engaging with laws governing the nation through accountability and best practice.
Lawyers will normally say ignorance of the law is not an excuse, but I believe before ignorance, people need to be informed about this legislation. There are just a lot of legislations out there, and I would not blame anyone for not knowing certain laws that are very important. I myself don't know all the laws of the Gambia. It is just out of curiosity and research that you get to know some of it.
Robert Anderson, the Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Banjul, emphasized that laws remain merely ink on paper until they are actively enforced. He praised the collaboration between civil society and government sectors in their efforts to combat corruption in the Gambia, highlighting its significance for national development.
There are a lot of U.S. companies out there looking to expand and to get into markets in Africa and hopefully here in the Gambia, and we'll certainly do our best, and I will do my best to bring those companies here and try to raise the Gambia's profile to get some of that investment here. But this act is going to be fundamental to that actually happening, because they are going to be looking at the possibilities of corruption when they make those decisions about where to invest.
Hussein Tomasi, the Gambia's Solicitor General, called on all public officials to embrace their responsibilities with purpose.
As custodians of the public good, it is our duty to uphold the highest standards of probity and to build a legacy of accountable governance for future generations.
Participant Binta Masane Samura, the Deputy Director of Legal Affairs at the Gambia Ports Authority, shared her optimism for the two-day training.
It would deter a lot of the corrupt practices that people are dealing with on a daily basis, especially public officers. So having this program or having this one-on-one with public officers, it's an important session, and I believe that it would definitely benefit us, especially us that are legal representatives of public institutions.
The conclusion of this training will guide efforts in effectively implementing the Anti-Corruption Act 2023 to ensure a corruption-free society and work on restoring public trust in government institutions. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Up next is international news. China's Xinhai Province's Foreign Affairs Office hosted the 9th China-Africa Youth Festival Banquet, bringing together young people from China and Africa for a night of celebration and collaboration. Usman Jata reports.
The banquet offered a delicious mix of Chinese and African cuisine, from dumplings to jollof rice, creating lasting memories. The evening began with speeches from Mrs. Ying Shuli, Deputy Director General of the Foreign Affairs Office, and China's youth representative from Xinhai Province, both of whom emphasized the importance of building strong connections between the young people of China and Africa.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
These young leaders are paving the way for stronger future China-Africa relations. Fascinate Bigos Bangura, a prominent Guinean-Canadian youth leader, spoke about the power of youth to create a brighter future for both regions.
This festival gives us a chance to learn from each other, to listen to each other, and to imagine a future that is bigger than our own individual dreams. Together, we represent Africa, China, and the world. And together, we can build bridges of peace, prosperity, and innovation.
But the real excitement came with music and dance. The crowd cheered, laughed and danced, showcasing how culture brings people together. The night's height was the China-Africa Dance Battle, where young dancers competed, lighting up the room with their energy. The dance floor perfectly captured the spirit of the evening, fun, lively, and full of joy. Beyond the food and entertainment, the night also focused on building lasting relationships and partnerships. Young entrepreneurs, artists, and students from both regions exchanged ideas and discussed future collaborations and celebrated the power of youth to drive change. Osman Jata, QTV News, Shanghai Province, China.
And before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. The European Union and the government of the Gambia on Friday signed a landmark $1.7 billion investment agreement to enhance the country's agri-food systems. Over 200 Gambian youths are taking part in the 4th edition of the Local Conference of Youth on Climate Change, El Koya, the Gambia 2025. In an exclusive interview with the QTV, GCCI President-elect Njundu Fati outlined his 3-year priorities while commending his fellow presidential contenders and thanking the Chamber's members for trusting in him. A team of Spanish doctors is currently in the Gambia carrying out free gynecological surgeries for women at the Kanifing General Hospital. In international news, China's Shanghai Province's Foreign Affairs Office hosted the 9th China-Africa Youth Festival banquet, uniting young people from China and Africa for a night of celebration and collaboration. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Mamadou Mboj and Jules Lenjai. Thanks for watching.